Willie D Live.
What's up, family? In light of everything that's going on in Minnesota with ICE attacking, beating, brutalizing, and killing people, I wanted to do my part as an American, a red-blooded, born and raised American, to keep the Epstein files at the top of the news cycle. You spoke, I listened. So I wanted to remind you guys of something. I wanted to bring this back full circle. We have Joe Schmitt. Who is Joe Schmitt? Back in September, Joe Schmitt was working for the DOJ. He's a deputy, well, he worked as a deputy chief, and he admitted that the government will redact every single Republican while leaving all liberal Democratic people on the Epstein client list. He also said that Ghislaine Maxwell was moved to a lower security prison as a benefit to keep her mouth shut. She got transferred to a minimum security prison. And that, my friend, is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. I guess they just do whatever they want to do. Check out the video, family.
Files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal Democratic people in those files.
I think they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
Got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. They're offering her something to keep her mouth shut.
And what do you do for work again?
I work for the Department of Justice.
Okay.
Been there like 23 years. I'm an analyst. I'll be acting deputy chief of our office for a few months starting next week. I work closely with like all the federal law enforcement agencies and the U.S. attorney's offices, the prosecutors and stuff. The thing is, it's interesting because I do deal with so many of the agencies, like the Bureau of Prisons, the Marshal Service, the FBI, U.S. attorney's offices.
I ain't got no problem with that, family. You know, these days, family, you should always assume that you're being recorded. Like, damn near, even if you're at home, you got to assume you're being recorded because from what I'm understanding, they're picking up everything we're putting down, whether it be on our computers, if we got microphones on our computers or cameras, we got mics and cameras on our phones. We have them on our surveillance cameras. You know, Ring pick up everything. Hell, Ring can see a shooting going down 25 miles up the road. Ring pick up everything, right? Wait a minute, hold on. There might be something right there. That girl made some money recently with, what was it, Dr. Pepper? Yeah, maybe I can do something. Ring, pick up everything. Ring, pick up. I got to work on it. I have work on it. But anyway, family, we got to keep this up at the top of the news cycle. This was a big deal, and they've been trying to bury it. Boy, thank God for honest, hardworking Americans with integrity. Yeah, fam. They were really thinking that they was going to get away with just redacting Republicans and no Democrats. It's like they don't even try to be sneaky with it. They just blatantly, we're going to just take out all of the Republicans and leave all of the Democrats, knowing that if you had money, Jeffrey Epstein rocked with you. He didn't care if you were a Republican or a Democrat. If you had that big bank, you had his attention. Or if you had that little girl, he had your attention, you had his attention. But anyway, fam, let's take a look at this article because Joe sued the DOJ behind his firing after that tape came out. And I wanted to refresh your memory about this, family, because this is going to have a direct impact on however this case go down at the end of the day. So we got a veteran Justice Department official fired after being caught in a video sting criticizing the agency's handling of the Epstein files, sued Monday to demand reinstatement to his post. Joseph Schmitt, who helped oversee DOJ's witness protection program, claims his First Amendment rights were violated when Attorney General Pam Bondi abruptly fired him in September after a conservative group published surreptitiously recorded video of him predicting that the department would take a partisan approach to disclosures about the well-connected, convicted sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files. Leave all the liberal Democratic people in those files, Schmitt said in a video published in September by a conservative provocateur, James O'Keefe. The video also depicts Schmitt declaring that the recent transfer of convicted Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell to a minimum security prison violated DOJ policy for sex offenders and amounted to offering her something to keep her mouth shut. Bondi fired Schmitt, the acting deputy chief of the witness security program at DOJ, one day after his comments were posted online. She cited his publicly inappropriate comments that were detrimental to the interest of the department and said he was being dismissed under the Constitution of laws of the United States, including President Donald Trump's authority as head of the executive branch. Schmitt's lawsuit says Bondi fired him despite his insistence that he had no direct knowledge of the Epstein or Maxwell prosecutions or the department's response to public and congressional calls for the release of related records held by prosecutors and the FBI. So, in a nutshell, what we have here, family, is a failure to communicate. And I love it when a plan comes together. I love it when they turn on each other. One thing about Trump and his people, they will turn on you. They will flip in a heartbeat. No loyalty, man. What they say, no honor among thieves? You got that right. No honor among thieves. More illegal and unconstitutional behavior. Trying to rig the midterms, trying to get rid of those Epstein files. It's one cover-up after the other. Should we still be calling it a cover-up? Because this is in plain sight at this point. Everything's in plain sight. But I see Trump operating in the capacity of do it and ask for forgiveness as opposed to asking for permission. You see what I mean? It seems to be that's the way he's operating. Like, I'm just gonna do it. And then somebody say, you can't do that, you can't do that. Okay, we'll take it back. Instead of him doing it and it's illegal and then coming down on him, impeachment right there, then and there, ain't no backpedaling, just right there, impeachment. You go straight to jail. Is it possible that Trump has committed more major crimes against the United States of America than any single human being in the history of the United States of America? Is that possible? Don't get it twisted because you don't actually see people dying. But there are also people dying because of his policies and his directions around the world, not just in the United States. Impeach the entire administration should be the rally call. Yeah. Impeach the entire administration. Welcome to everything MAGA does. The DOJ should be for the people. It should be for the people, right? That should be our backup no matter what. The DOJ should do the right thing no matter what. No one person should have that much power over our top law enforcement agency. No one person should have that kind of power. So once the DOJ is compromised, that's it. That's it. So they wait for something else to happen, then they get called out, and then they act surprised. You know, this information that came out on this video that was released, they knew what it was, but then they said that this guy was being relieved of his duties because of the Constitution of the United States of America laws. Like, come on, man. It's amazing how they do so much dirt, and at the same time as they're addressing the dirt that they do, they talk about values and the law and upholding the law while they're defending themselves against the law. The gaslighting is next level. I find it hard to believe that there are only one copy of these files, though. I do believe that there's more. I don't think that there's just one copy of the Epstein file. I think somebody made copies of everything that they could. You did everything they could be made a copy of. I do believe that they made a copy. And hasn't Biden seen those files? You know, other government officials have seen those files. The Democrats have seen those files. Why didn't they do anything about it? See, that's another thing. You know, Biden ain't getting enough press for his role that he played in suppressing those Epstein files. Why isn't Biden being looked at? Why is nobody talking about Biden? He had the files. See, this is what I mean about why the Democrats are so weak. If I would have been Biden in Biden's position and I had those files, and I knew what was in those files, I would have brought Trump down. I would have stopped him. He wouldn't have even been in office right now. He wouldn't be in office. See, you got to learn how to ride on your enemies and put them down and keep them down. And that's the part that a lot of these politicians on the left don't get. But do they get it? Do they get it? They act like they don't, but do they get it? Because remember what I said, fam. Oftentimes, the left will sit back on the fence and play innocent, all the while hoping that the Republicans get certain policies pushed through, certain legislation passed. Because really on the cool, they're in favor of it. The only difference between a Democrat and a Republican politician is opportunity. In most cases. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.